I don't know who the original quote was attributed to, um, but um, Nora Roberts, someone had gone to a Nora Roberts reading and had asked her that question. How do you balance, writing and momming and all this stuff? And so the original quote sort of had something to do with like you're juggling a bunch of different balls, and I think originally it was like five different balls: work, life, creativity, whatever. But Nora Roberts said it's more than that. It is 50 balls. Each ball is a specific task. It's sending an email at work. It's a single football game for your kid. It is having self-care. It is spouse time. She says it's more like 50, and some of those balls are made of glass and some of them are made of rubber, and you can drop the rubber ones and it's fine. I would also like to add that some of them are probably made of clay, where you can drop them a few times and they're okay, but they do eventually harden. So you have to be very aware of like which balls can you let go sometimes, right? Like missing one or two soccer games for your kid is probably not a big deal. Missing all of them is probably going to turn into a glass ball that shatters, and it's very difficult to fix that.
Put it back together.
Yeah, it's very difficult to fix it. And so, right, I think that's something that we all really need to sort of start doing, where we think like, oh, work and life, and it's like they're all in there together. And sometimes there's things at work that are glass balls. Sometimes there are things at work that are rubber balls. And I think we also need to learn how to delegate. I think there's this kind of the saying of women are superheroes, which is kind of toxic when you think about it. There is no perfect thing, but I think that we need to stop comparing motherhood to a job. We don't compare fatherhood to a job. They are separate, um, and we should respect them in their separate spheres. Okay.
Well, and I think that calling motherhood a job also contributes to this idea that mothers have to do it all, and that they should be grateful for any help that the husband, or again, we're coming at this from a heterosexual cisgender perspective, but like that the husband gives any help is like, oh, what a great dad, he's doing the dishes. Bullshit. That's part of your job as a family member living in this house
I
or
know, it's
apartment or
like, okay,
whatever.
if you were single, living in a house by yourself, you would still have to wash the dishes and do the laundry and clean the bathrooms. Like, you'd still have to do that stuff. So, like, that some of that domestic stuff is just part of life. Like, you as the working parent should still be expected to keep up the domesticity, the 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 parenting, the childcare parent, I guess we could say, the default parent, I guess we could say, their job, for lack of a better term, is keeping the children from killing themselves. Which, if you have toddlers, you know that is a feat. And like, if they didn't have kids, right? If both of you are working and you didn't have kids, you would still both be expected to do the domestic labor. So thinking of like, anyway, that is a whole other thing. But yes, so Shonda Rhimes also brings in like men should also be saying yes. I haven't watched the Barbie movie, but I feel like that is one of the messages too, is like toxic masculinity and patriarchy also hurts men, and if we shift our perspective on this, it's better for all of us. Men should also start saying yes to themselves and their families, and saying yes to the things that makes them fulfilled and less